Hey folks, this is Kalani. Patch 10.0.7 introduces a few new ways to gear up, especially for new alts or players who are returning to the game, but there's also a gearing up option that should be very useful for even the most geared up players out there, giving everyone access to a very easy to obtain item level 424 ring. So there's something for everyone in this patch when it comes to new gearing options. So let's see how you can gear up in patch 10.0.7 and very quickly and easily get up to item level 400 and beyond. Now before we jump in, be sure to hit up that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. Patch 10.0.7 makes gearing up very quick and very straightforward. Most of our gearing is going to be done with just two types of items, a gear token and an upgrade token. These gear tokens will create item level 385 primal storm gear, so they are perfect for gearing up alts or catching up on your main if you took a break from the game. They can drop from any monster in the Forbidden Reach zone by the looks of things, but you will see the highest drop rates from the various rare monsters that inhabit the zone, so collecting these gear tokens is super easy. Watch your world map and as soon as a rare icon pops up, zoom on over and help kill the rare. If you're lucky, you'll get a gear token you can use. These gear tokens can drop for any armor type and they also cover every gear slot including weapons and trinkets, so you can get a full set of gear just from farming these gear tokens. Now sadly you cannot focus in on certain gear tokens, so you are relying on RNG quite a bit here, but the good news is that these tokens are all bind on account, so you can trade them across all of your alts if you can't use them on the character that loots them. The other item that we're after here is untapped forbidden knowledge. These drop in the exact same way, so you should be getting them periodically while farming the rares. The big difference is that these are bind on pickup, so while you can trade gear tokens around your alts, you cannot trade the upgrade items, which is a little annoying. So I would recommend you do your rare farming on a character that needs the upgrades. So get your 385 gear tokens, upgrade them to 395, and just rinse and repeat for every gear slot. It's kind of as simple as that. Now if you're working with a totally fresh level 70 or a really far behind character, you can also take advantage of the massive amounts of elemental overflow that you'll be accumulating. You may have forgotten that back in Valdrakken there is a vendor who will sell you item level 359 gear and all it costs is elemental overflow. We are getting so much overflow in the new zone that you can probably buy a full set of gear here just after killing a few rares. So that's an incredibly easy way to upgrade leveling gear or early crafted gear or just anything that is below item level 359. It's going to be a nice replacement. Honestly, this is perfect for new alts especially because you can get a bit more gear to help you stay alive and deal more damage in the Forbidden Reach zone when you're doing all of your rare farming. Now before we continue, today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, and the game is currently celebrating its 4th birthday. I still remember picking my starter champion, Elaine. She carried me to victory in my first dungeon and against my first boss. I love her skill set, which quickly decimates multiple enemy targets, letting me breeze through campaign levels. I could set up my group around supporting that awesome cleave and AoE damage, so it was a lot of fun. There's a lot coming with the anniversary event, including dedicated offers, free gifts, promo codes, events, and a brand new fusion event with an anniversary themed legendary champion to collect. If you have Amazon Prime, there's another loot drop this month, powerful Savage gear available between March 2nd and March 30th. If you haven't played Raid before, you can use our link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to get some insane bonuses. You'll get a free epic champion, Kellen the Shrike, and a lot of other special items to get you started. But that's not all. All new and existing players can get a bunch of free birthday gifts with the in-game promo code 4 years raid, including 4 legendary skill tomes and other useful goodies, so click the link in the description to start your Raid Shadow Legends adventures today. Now getting back to the video, as a quick side note, if you don't want to trek all the way over to Valdrakken, this same vendor is actually right here in the Forbidden Reach, just off to the side of the upgrade vendor and quartermaster, so that makes it even more efficient to buy these items. These gear sets also look pretty cool in my opinion, so even if you don't actually need the item level bump, now is still a great time to buy these items with it being so quick and easy. You can also buy each armor type if you haven't already just to collect the transmog. A few rare kills on a plate wearer, mail wearer, leather wearer and cloth wearer will have you swimming in free transmog sets, so that might be something to consider as well. And I know it's not really gear related, but you can also pick up the pets and the mount from this vendor too, if that's something you didn't do before. We're getting so much more overflow now than at Dragonflight's launch, so these used to be quite expensive, and now it's like 2 rares worth of overflow, which is kinda crazy. Now you can upgrade this 359 gear into the 385 gear that you would otherwise be getting from the tokens, but you need another currency called Storm Sigils. These are more annoying to collect in general, and they're also time gated, so I would try to farm more tokens before looking towards Storm Sigils for the upgrades. Personally, I don't really think it's worth your time going after Storm Sigils. I would focus on the tokens themselves, but I guess it is worth noting that the old Storm invasions in the Dragon Isles, the ones where you can get Storm Sigils from the weekly quest drops, have also been updated in this patch. They don't pop up quite as often, fewer storms are active at once, but the monsters have been buffed up. You will see different monsters, the bosses and rares are going to spawn more often, and perhaps most importantly, the rewards have been increased. Some of these old storms also drop a lot more elemental overflow when compared to before, but the mobs and bosses also have a chance to drop the very same item level 385 gear tokens as the rares in the Forbidden Reach, as well as the untapped Forbidden Knowledge upgrade items, which I was very surprised about. The drop rates also seem to be pretty decent from the little grinding I did, so if you do go after Storm Sigils for some of the more reliable upgrades, you're not actually wasting your time entirely, because you can still get the 385 gear tokens and the 395 upgrade tokens from the old invasions. So that's a nice little update that a lot of folks probably don't know about. If you're tired of farming rares and there's a storm up, that might be a nice change of pace while still working towards your gear upgrades. So there are actually a lot of options here for collecting these 385 tokens, using the 395s as a gap filler and then working towards those 395 upgrades. Using just these gearing up options, you can get a full set of item level 395 gear, which can help you in other areas of the game or just get you into a great position for when 10.1 rolls around. There is another feature in this patch which lets you get some very quick and easy item levels, but also significantly increases the power level of your character, the Onyx Amulet. That's Amulet, not Amulet. This new ring can be found inside the Scare vaults on the floor. It's super easy to find. The ring starts at item level 411 but can be upgraded up to 424. Now the ring by itself doesn't really do anything. You need to socket primordial stones into it. You'll have 3 sockets to fill, so you can have up to 3 stones active at a time. To get primordial stones, you're going to want to open as many doors as you can in the Scare vaults and open up everything you can inside the rooms. There are loads of big chests which can contain a random stone, but also little chests which contain fragments, so the more doors you open, the more stones you will get. You can also crush stones into fragments by standing next to the anvil in the Forbidden Reach hub. You will need to complete the quest that asks you to retrieve the anvil and jeweler's kit from the vaults to unlock these options, so be sure you get that done. When you smash a stone, you will get 6 fragments. Fragments can then be used to buy more stones at the vendor right next to the anvil, 10 fragments per stone, and you can buy a specific family of stone to narrow down your options. I would personally recommend crushing any stone that you get a duplicate of, or any stone that doesn't work for you. So the ones with on-heal effects won't really be worth holding on to if you can't heal. Stones that rely on getting hit probably won't be worth too much if you are not a tank, etc, etc. To change your stones around, you just need to stand next to the jeweler's kit in the Forbidden Reach hub, right next to the anvil. You get an extra action button that lets you unsocket your stones, so it's really easy to change things up and experiment. I would also recommend you take a look at what Wowhead suggests for your class or spec. The guide writers typically have a good idea about how this stuff works and which stones would be best to put in your ring, and these have been updated recently because a lot of new combinations have been found. If you don't get the right stones from the vaults, just buy stones until you get the ones you need. This page should be updated if any new combinations are found, so I will give you a link to this in the description below. After you've settled on a few stones to socket, you can also upgrade them. Upgrading stones will increase their effectiveness, so more damage or healing or larger shields, and it will also increase their item level. Each stone can be upgraded 2 times, which will increase their item level to 424. When you have all 3 gems at 424, your ring will also be item level 424, so that will give you a nice item level bump, which should help you get into other forms of content. Now, to upgrade a stone, you will need an item called Unstable Elementium. This can only be crafted by a jewel crafter, so if you aren't a jewel crafter with the recipe, you will need to make a work order for this. That's going to cost you 10 fragments plus 25 silken gem dust. I would just buy the gem dust off the auction house, it's usually very cheap, so you'll need 20 fragments total to upgrade each stone to its max, or 60 fragments to upgrade all 3 stones to their max item level. That shouldn't take too long overall if you scrap all of your unwanted stones. So while the 395 gear is mostly for outdoor world content players and helping to catch up characters or alts that have been left behind, the fully upgraded Onyx Annulet and Primordial Stones should be an upgrade for everyone, and if you're still not using it, I bet they're gonna buff it even more. Even the high-end raiders and Mythic Plus Dungeoneers are supposed to be using this ring until 10.1, so it's definitely worth looking into no matter what kind of player you are. Now, if you're struggling to fill in all of your slots, remember that the world bosses in the Dragon Isles do also drop item level 395 gear, so if you're missing just that one last item, or maybe a couple of last items, hopping on over to the world boss might be just what you need to get rid of that last pesky low item level piece of gear. Some of the items are actually pretty decent too, so you never know, you might just get lucky. The world boss will also give you some good progress towards your Inspiration Catalyst charges if that's something you've been neglecting. On the topic of the Catalyst, all of the Primalist token gear can also be turned into the tier set gear using the Catalyst. So if you haven't acquired your 4 set tier bonus yet, this would give you 395 gear to make that happen. At this point, your character is ready to hop on the standard gear treadmill for the rest of the season. You can hop into raids, Mythic Plus dungeons, maybe tinker around in PvP, whatever takes your fancy. If you get up to item level 395 or above, you can probably comfortably skip up to heroic mode in the raid and start doing keys above level 10 with relative ease. 395 is a pretty high item level for outdoor world content as it stands right now, so it really does put you in a perfect position to try out some endgame content in Season 1, or just wait until Season 2 resets the board and you can get into things then. But that's how you can quickly gear up in patch 10.0.7 to get your characters all caught up in item level. What characters are you working on right now, and what do you think are the gear catch-ups in this patch? Are they enough, or should they have gone further and rewarded even higher item levels? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to all of our members here on YouTube. You can see the names floating by on screen. If you'd like to add your name to the end of every video with a special shout out at the start of the next video, you can find links in the description over to Patreon, or click the join button just below this video. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching, folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I'll see you next time.